What is going on, and welcome back to another episode of I Coach Nutrition Radio. Today, coming at you with the heat, building off this last podcast episode that I just went into. This one's going to be all about the fact that the response, right, or the statement, "I don't have time," is bullshit. Everybody has the time for things that they want to prioritize in their life. Right? Ultimately, we prioritize the things in our life that is important to us, right? For some of you, work is more important than your health. For some of you, work is more important than your family. For some of you, work is more important than your faith. Now, look, I'm not trying to sit here and stand on some pedestal and act as if I don't have these same challenges myself, because I absolutely do. And I think all of us do. Right. But I think if we really took a step back here and had this 10,000 foot view of our life and did a time audit, and we went and looked and we said, all right, well, where am I deploying my time? Right. If family is my number one priority and I'm spending more of my time on work than I am with my family, well, then what is really my number one priority? Right. And this is a gut check. This is something where you got to look at yourself in the mirror and really have an honest conversation with yourself, because I get this all the time from clients, from potential clients that want to transform their health, that want to transform their life, that want to lose weight, that have high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, whatever it may be, right? And they've gotten this diagnosis and they know that they need to make changes. They know that they're not prioritizing their health. They know that they're not living a healthy lifestyle. The weight's been packing on year after year after year. They have kids, they have grandkids, they want to be around. They feel like crap. They're not confident in their body. They don't look the way that they used to look. They can't move the way they used to move. They're dealing with injuries. They're dealing with aches and pains and all of these things. But yet, even after voicing all of these problems, right, all of these struggles, and saying how important all of these things are for them in terms of making change, then what ends up coming up is, I don't have time, or I'm busy, or I was going to do that, but something else came up. We prioritize the things that are important to us. And look, you're always going to have stuff on your plate outside of just this. Waiting for the perfect time to prioritize learning how to live a healthy lifestyle and building good habits and getting rid of bad habits. Waiting till the perfect time to prioritize your health, to prioritize this weight loss journey, to prioritize getting off the medications. There's never going to be the right time. There's never going to be the perfect time. And for any of my clients right now that are listening to this, there's some clients that are listening that I've had this conversation with, and if they're listening to the podcast right now, they're like, damn, he's talking to me. And I am. I'm talking to you, and I'm also talking to so many others that are listening to this podcast. Because again, I'm not perfect, and I'm not trying to sit up here on a pedestal and act as if I am. But we prioritize the things that are important to us. I hate saying I don't have time. In fact, every single time that I say that I'm so busy, I don't have time, I try to check myself and say, you know what? Is it really that I don't have time, or is it that I don't want to make this thing a priority right now in my life? We prioritize the things in our life that are important, period. And if you can't agree to that statement, then again, you are in denial, right? I have to bring you back to reality here, right? I have to give you the accountability that you need. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, why are you putting these things off? Why are you not going all in on yourself, on your health, right? If you say that it is important for you because you want to be around for your family, then awesome, make this a priority. It does not mean that this has to be the number one priority in your life. It doesn't mean that you have to do a complete overhaul of your life. It means that you need to start, and you need to start now, and you need to start being consistent. And I promise you that if you're not tracking these habits in some way, maybe it's a habit tracker, maybe it's a food and drink picture log, maybe it's a MyFitnessPal food log, right? Maybe it's a check-in form that you're doing each week. Maybe it's a calendar. Like, there's so many different ways to go about tracking this stuff. But if you're not tracking it in some way, on a consistent basis, you are going to lack clarity. You're going to lack awareness. And you're not going to be able to make the consistent changes that you need to make to ultimately transform your lifestyle and therefore transform your life. So I don't have time is a bullshit excuse. That's where we have to start. If we can't agree on that, turn the podcast off. There's no point in even continuing on here. If you do agree, but you're like, okay, now I'm trying to find the time. Now I'm trying to make this a priority. How do I go about doing that? One of the best things that you can possibly do is a time audit. Most of you, right, who prioritize your career and are high performers, you have a work calendar, right? And you say all the time, if it's not on my calendar, it's not happening. I live and die by my calendar. Everything's on my calendar. Awesome. Let's do a time audit of your calendar, right? There's 24 hours in the day. How many of these hours are going towards work, towards family, towards your health, right? And we ultimately have to build out your schedule in a way that is going to allow you to prioritize the things that you say that are important to you. Does that mean that it's a complete overhaul and now, you know, you're moving this thing on the list from number 3 to number 1? No, right? Most of us don't have the time to be able to do that type of transformation. But there are going to be small changes that you can make, and these small changes add up. There's a compounding effect, right? And these small changes start to add up to big changes. But you have to start. I always mention the big rocks and the things that matter most with sleep and nutrition and exercise, hydration, stress management, those 5 big rocks. If you just took that alone and you asked yourself, out of those 5 big rocks, what is the one that's suffering the most? Is it my sleep? Does my sleep suck? Right? Am I only getting 4, 5, 6 hours a night? Is it my nutrition? Do I eat like an asshole? Do I eat fast food, restaurant food all the time? Do I never cook? Have I never tracked my food? I have no awareness around how many calories I'm consuming on a daily basis. Have I let my workouts just completely fall off? Am I just completely sedentary, sitting at a desk all day? Haven't worked out in years? Is my hydration off? Do I never drink water? Do I drink way too much alcohol? Do I rely way too much on caffeine? Am I stressed beyond belief? Am I not prioritizing stress management? All right, maybe it's one of these things, maybe it's multiple of these things, but being able to identify the low-hanging fruit, what's the biggest issue? What's the number one thing that I can start working on improving now? What's the one thing that if I work on this, I will be able to improve all of these other things, right? Because a lot of the times one thing, one positive habit, one positive change can lead to a domino effect of you starting to now implement more and more positive changes into your life. And these positive changes, again, they add up. There's a compounding effect. They add up to big changes. These big changes ultimately are what transform your life. So again, I could go on and on and on and on about this, but the topic of this podcast and the big takeaway here is that I don't have time is a bullshit excuse. And I would challenge you and encourage you, and that every single time that you hear yourself saying that, hey, I'm so busy, hey, I don't have time, right? What I really want you to flip that to is, hey, this is just not a priority for me right now in my life. And as you start saying that and repeating that more and more and more and more, you're going to check yourself and you're going to start to build building awareness around what and what not is important to you in this time in your life, in this season of life. All right. But with that said, you have one life, you have one opportunity. Your health is your greatest asset, whether you realize it right now or not. And for some of you, you're listening to it, you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s. I don't know where you're at in this journey of life right now, what season of life you're in. But if you haven't realized it yet, you will eventually. So don't take your health for granted. Don't take your body for granted. I've done it before, and I swore that I would never do it again. My health is my greatest asset. So take with it what you will. I'm just some random guy doing a podcast here. If you're in the Facebook group, maybe I've coached you before, maybe I'm just some random guy talking about you needing to prioritize your health. Either way, I'm not talking at you. I'm talking with you. I'm here to help you. Take my advice or leave it. It's up to you. But this is coming from 10 plus years of working with thousands of clients one-on-one, living this lifestyle myself, right? For the majority of my life. seeing what it does to my life, seeing what it does to so many other people's life. And ultimately, at the end of the day, when you can prioritize living a healthy lifestyle the majority of the time, it will translate into every other aspect of your life in terms of helping you to feel better, look better, perform better, right? Ultimately becoming the best version of you and reaching your God-given potential in life. So I encourage you with that. If you have any questions, as always, please let me know. And I hope you all have an amazing week. Thanks, guys.